Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 12 of the anime series Log Horizon 2. And much as we were promised toward the tail end of the previous episode by Akatsuki herself, this was collectively where the other foot dropped as far as leveling the bomb drop revelation of Shiro's motivations in attempting this raid, getting together with Silver Sword Guild, and everything like that. We finally see what exactly it is was his goal. And I was actually quite surprised by it, as we have this confrontation between Shiro and Uru of the Ninth Garden, who is the Abyssal Shaft's, final boss or what have you. It's very interesting to me because, of course, I'm thinking, like, is he trying to find a way out of this Elder Tale come-to-life realm, whatever it happens to be? Is he thinking about trying to equate peace among the people of the land and the adventurers? And it's sort of erred more on that side, of course, but definitely not within any means that I had actually speculated. Essentially, he's talking about selling back levels of ownership of places in Akihabara and everything like that, their guild houses and all that kind of stuff, to make back their money. And they want to then put that money toward purchasing battlegrounds and such like that. The idea being that they're going to buy it up, sell it back, buy it up, sell it back, so that they level the playing field between, effectively, the adventurers and the people of the land. The people of the land being those who, they exist in this world already, and they can't really purchase land and such like that, anything that they haven't already been given at the start of the whole situation, that kind of thing. And so the idea is not to give the adventurers any sense of one-upsmanship. We have this and you don't, that kind of thing. It won't be any longer a point of bartering or arguing and that kind of stuff. And that's actually pretty freaking intelligent, for Shiro to come at it from that vein. Because the less that, the people of the land and the adventurers have to bitch about and complain about and fight over, the better equality can reign over this entire Elder Tale come-to-life realm. And he's basically talking about giving it back to the Yamato server, which is where they all frequently played. When they would log into Elder Tale, this was the server within which that they all usually would spawn and play. And so the idea is to give those things back to the Yamato server and just try to level the playing field. And I think it's absolutely genius in the long term, because the idea, that he had previously to this was kind of just dealing with the adventurers themselves. Make the adventurer hubs like Akihabara and other cities, make those safe zones for adventurers. There really wasn't a lot of thought going into it about leveling the playing field with the people of the land. There was talk, of course, and going back and forth with Lanessia and such like that, and her people with, similar quandaries and similar problems within the world working together. But there's only so far you can go with something like that, and I think Shiro is absolutely just a genius. The villain in the glasses is a well-earned trait and name and nickname for him in this, effectively. And so we basically see this agreement sort of being made with, of course, Uru of the Ninth Garden, and we see everyone from Silver Sword celebrating that they have finally defeated, and they're the first to complete the raid, in the Abyssal Shaft and everything like that. Just absolutely fantastic. Loved seeing the sort of dumbfounded look on Demikas's face when he was counted among them, and everything like that. And William, Massachusetts, of course, rallying the war cry, the cry of success, effectively, just gave me goosebumps. I was so psyched and stoked for that. Of course, they go back to Susukino, and that's where, the Silver Sword is going to lay their ground for now. And I love how William sort of sheepishly tries to ask Shiro to, add him to his friend list, and Shiro's like, I already did, man. And so that's really awesome. I love that the sort of lines of discontent that were there between them originally have been forged over with friendship because of this raid, because of everything they endured, and being killed time and time again and everything like that. It was just pretty freaking awesome. And then, of course, as Shiro, Naosugu, and Tetra are on, Griffin back, making their way back to Akihabara, we find out the bomb drop revelation of Tetra is a boy. No problem with that. He wants to be a she, he wants to be an idol and everything like that. Absolutely just makes that character that much more hilarious and adorable in my book. And, of course, going after Naosugu, and Marielle is trying to pick out, the best, most beautiful looking outfit to welcome him back with, because, of course, they dig each other. And you have Tetra getting in the way of that when they finally do get back together. And it's just absolutely funny. I absolutely loved, of course, Akatsuki's being there to welcome back, sneaking up on, in fact, Shiro, and him kind of embarrassing her about, saying she looked a little taller. She was standing a little taller because she was much more matured after all the fighting she had done, of course, with the killer Nelreth and everything like that. She had to rise to that challenge. And that's a perspective Shiro's very much been in need of. He's been looking at his own sort of surroundings within the raid, and he's finally come back, and he's taking to task that the people he left behind, they were fighting battles of their own as well. They had to stick together and learn to fight without his guidance, which is something I called to, in a previous episode discussion video. And it's just phenomenal that he finally has that recognition. He's handling himself a lot more openly than he had in the past. And it just seems like there are just good things to come, good things aplenty on that, level, in that framework for those characters and that group and everything like that. But then, of course, we have hints to a much darker side of things still on the horizon. And that being, to do with this group of, I don't know exactly who they are, but they're basically surrounding a princess who's kind of like lazing about. But the two of them that stuck out to me the most was Intix and KR. I'm not exactly sure who KR is, except to say that we see some dialogue from Shiro suggesting KR was somebody that goes back to the Debauchery Tea Party, which he was a part of course, and some of the characters we've been introduced to in the series were a part of, had hailed from until the Debauchery Tea Party had split and gone their separate ways. And so it's interesting to me, them to sort of have this taken aback reaction to Shiro. It makes me wonder, are they potentially going to, come to blows? Are these adversaries where Shiro's motivation is to make the betterment of mankind, of adventurers and people of land alike? Could it be that this particular group, they just want to have fun and they want to do it at the expense of others, and very much like we saw Demikas being when he was first introduced in the series? And I also love that. I love that sort of, calling back to the idea within Shiro's mind that finally they found some level of agreement, he and Demikas, that is that they don't like each other. They'll never like each other. They'll never agree. They decided to work together for a time, but, and then, of course, you see Demikas going back home and talking to that chick. Oh, yeah, I saved them, and the snot was coming out of his nose, and he was like, oh, Demikas, thank you for saving me. And it was like, I love how Demikas was mocking Shiro, trying to seem like the better man and everything. But, yeah, the question is now overhanging. Who was this group of people? A few of them may have been hailing from the Debauchery Tea Party formerly, and when they, come to blows, or when they come to confrontation with Shiro and Log Horizon and all these other characters, what exactly is going to happen? What is the effect going to be? Is it going to be adversarial? Are they going to end up working together? And yeah, I can't wait to see where we go from here. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this episode, what you thought of the culmination and the revelation of Shiro's motivations in what his actions were, taking on this raid, dealing with the Kuni clan, the gold and everything that was hinted about, that maybe he wanted the wealth, or maybe he might have even wanted to escape this world. Were you satisfied, though, in finding out that he was trying to just make the relations between the people of the land and the adventurers much more on a level scope? And yeah, so otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video and that it finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.